fifth season of the UIM-ABP Aquabike World Championship was another thrilling year as the best riders from all over the globe went head-to-head for the 2019 world title in 4 categories: Ski Ladies GP1, Ski Division GP1, Freestyle, and Runabout GP1. The 2019 season was raced in Europe, the Far East, and the Middle East over 4 rounds, including some brand new venues as well as return visits to old favorites. The year began with a first ever Grand Prix in Portimao, Portugal on the Arad River before the tour headed to Sardinia as riders fought it out for the Grand Prix of Italy title in Olbia. Then it was over to the Far East, and round 3 as Qingdao, China hosted the High Air Grand Prix before it was back to the Middle East for the season finale in Sharjah in the UAE. Fans and locals from all over the world got to experience Aquabike Grand Prix events, 3-day celebrations of racing, sports, camaraderie, and partying, where the excitement and drama on water is joined by fun concerts and shows on land, as fans indulge in not just a sport, but a lifestyle. Now let's have a look back on the 2019 season. We kick it off with Ski Division GP1. In the Ski Division GP1, all eyes were on the 2-time and defending world champion from Austria, Kevin Ryder, who was virtually flawless in 2018, racing with Dubai's Victory team. But he was up against a formidable cast of riders like Norwegians Daniel Sve Andersen and Stan Shetline, French rider Axel Courtois, and Hungarian Barnabas Szabo, to name a few. In round 1 in Portimao, Portugal, with thousands gathered, Kevin Ryder took pole position in the time trials to romp to a start-to-finish victory in Moto 1 ahead of Daniel Sve Andersen, who rose from 5th to take runner-up, then Hungarian Gabor Szabo. In the second and third motos, Ryder continued his impeccable racing to close out the first round with a clean sweep Grand Prix win and a maximum 75 points. Ryder head and shoulders above the competition in all 3 motos. Grand Prix runner-up went to Daniel Sve Andersen with Estonian Martin Manni on the 3rd step of the podium. Ryder kicking the season off perfectly in a quest for a 3rd world title. Round 2 was in the beautiful scenic seaside town of Olbia, in one of the most beautiful corners of the Mediterranean, as Sardinia once again hosted a UIM-ABP Grand Prix. Also racing in Olbia was the 2017 world champion Quinten Bosch of Belgium, who beat Ryder for the world title that year. The rivalry was renewed in Olbia as Bosch took pole position in the time trials and flew out ahead on the opening straightaway of Moto 1 before Ryder caught up, the 2 neck and neck, and they collided. Ryder in the water, Bosch in the lead as Ryder dropped to 19th. But the Austrian overhauled one rider after another to claw his way back up to 2nd. In the end, Bosch was just out of reach, and the Belgian closed out the Moto 1 win, ending Ryder's winning streak. In Moto 2, it was a great start from both Bosch and Ryder, the 2 neck and neck in the whole shots, before Bosch pulled ahead of the Austrian, who chased Bosch for the next 6 laps. The Austrian eventually caught up with Bosch in the alternate course on lap 7, and Ryder slalomed his way past the Belgian and into the lead. Ryder holds Bosch off for the Moto 2 win, Mikel Poré coming in 3rd. In Moto 3, Ryder had pole, but it was Bosch who shot ahead on the opening drag race to take command in the starting lap. Bosch held Ryder off right up until the final lap, but then he got tangled up with the back markers in the alternate course, and Ryder took advantage to snatch the lead in the dying seconds from the Belgian. Ryder taking the Moto 3 and Grand Prix of Italy title. Bosch, Grand Prix runner-up, and Hungarian Barnabas Szabo 3rd. At the end of round 2, Ryder solidified his world standings lead more than 50 points ahead of Daniel Sve Andersen, with Barnabas Szabo moving up into 3rd. Crowds and riders in Olbia gathered for the 9th-time World Slalom Championship, where Stan Shetline beat Antoine Goethals in the final, while in the Ski GP2 World Championship, Emirati Sultan Al Hamadi won the title, with Portuguese rider Gonçalo Rodrigues taking the GP3 World title. Round 3 at the UIM-ABP High Air Grand Prix of Qingdao in China, Ryder was the standout favorite, leading from pole position. And no surprises as Ryder closed out his 6th win in 7 motos, running to a comfortable win by 79 seconds over second place Daniel Sve Anderson, with Salman Alawadi finishing third. In Moto 2, Ryder once again rode out a comfortable win, but there was drama behind him as Danish rider Anders Keller and Norwegian Ulrik Berntsson locked horns for second place, Anders Keller just managing to slip past Berntsson in the final alternate course of the race to take second. In the final moto of Qingdao, Ryder knew he could close out the world title and make the final round a formality, but it depended on whether Daniel Sve Anderson could keep his slim hopes alive. Ryder once again raced to perfection for a start-to-finish win, but Anderson's 7th place meant he still had a sliver of hope for the title in Sharjah. The High Air Grand Prix champion, Kevin Ryder. Runner-up Anderson, 3rd place goes to Stan Shetline. In the season's final Grand Prix in Sharjah, Ryder only needed a single point to claim his 3rd world title, and he took no chances, nabbing yet another pole position to lead Moto 1 from the get-go, surging ahead of the field. Nobody came close to challenging Ryder, the Austrian romping home nearly a minute ahead of Shetline to take the 2019 UIM-ABP Ski Division GP1 World Championship. Shetline, Moto 1 runner-up, Ulrik Berntsson, 3rd. But Ryder wasn't about to rest on his laurels. He went out into Moto 2 determined to also claim a 4th Grand Prix of Sharjah title. He made no mistakes, once again leading the field, but behind him the battle raged for a place on the Grand Prix and year-end podium as Ulrik Berntsson edged Axel Courtois, with Anderson coming in 4th. But that was all Anderson needed to guarantee world runner-up for 2019. The 3rd and final year-end podium spot will be decided in Moto 3, where Kevin Ryder capped off a near-perfect year with 11 Moto wins and 1 Moto runner-up finish, 4 out of 4 Grand Prix titles, and the World Championship. In the overall Grand Prix results, Ryder scores a perfect 75 points for a 4th title in Sharjah, Berntsson a well-earned runner-up, Courtois on the podium in 3rd. The overall Ski Division GP1 World standings at the end of the 2019 season, Ryder with a 3rd World Championship, Daniel Sve Anderson World runner-up, and on the 3rd step of the podium is Stan Shetline, who edges past Axel Courtois, 4th, and Barnabas Chabot, 5th, with just 6 points separating those 3 in the end. Ladies GP1, the category continued to grow with 14 riders from 9 countries competing in Portimao. After 2 seasons of incredible dominance by 2016 and 2017 world champion Eminelli Ortendal of Sweden, the 2018 season witnessed the emergence of a new champion, Krista Uzare. The Latvian defending world champ was injured at the start of the season, and Ortendal was keen to reclaim the title in 2019, but she would have to defeat the likes of Jonna Borgström, Jasmine Ypres, Estelle Perret, and Katrine Nilbe. Ortendal got off to a shaky start to the season with a last-gasp win in the time trials to take pole position, and then trailing the early leader of Moto 1, Jasmine Ypres, before she was then passed by French rider Jessica Chavannes, dropping to 3rd. But Ortendal then found her rhythm, first overhauling Chavannes, then Ypres, to take a late surge win in Moto 1 and kick the season off on a winning note over Jonna Borgström 2nd and Ypres 3rd. Starting in pole for Moto 2, Ortendal again had a shaky start, trailing Ypres and Jonna Borgström before she bounced back and beat Ypres in the split course to take the lead and the race win. Ypres runner-up, and then a dramatic ending, Estelle Perret slipping past Jonna Borgström for 3rd. In the 3rd and final moto in Portimao, Ortendal and Ypres fought it out in the opening drag race to the hole shots in the rough and windy conditions. Ypres again getting the better of Ortendal, but Ypres faltered and Ortendal pounced, taking the lead and never looking back for a brilliant triple moto Grand Prix win to kick the season off with a maximum 75 points. Jonna Borgström also had a great start to the year with a best ever Grand Prix runner-up result, then Ypres 3rd on the podium. In round 2 in Olbia, Ortendal was looking to build on a round 1 win and world standings lead as she took pole position yet again, and this time she was off to a great start to lead in Moto 1, chased by Jasmine Ypres all race, but it was a tall order for the Estonian as she settled for 2nd, and with Estelle Perret coming in 3rd. In Moto 2, Ypres held off Jonna Borgström and went neck and neck with Ortendal on the opening straightaway, but Ortendal was too fast. With Ortendal opening her lead, Prowse gave chase, but she spun out as Jonna Borgström zipped past her into second, and Estelle Perret moved up to third. But a penalty buoy for Borgström shot Estelle Perret into second. Ortendal made it 5 wins out of 5 races in 2019, Perret second, Borgström third. In Moto3, there was no stopping Ortendal. She took a start-to-finish win to take another clean sweep and become the Grand Prix of Italy champion. Jonna Borgström was runner-up in Moto3, but Estelle Perret was runner-up in the overall Grand Prix standings ahead of Borgström. In the world standings at the end of 2 rounds, Ortendal continued her perfect run with a maximum 150 points, Jonna Borgström in second on 122 points, then Estelle Perret moving up to third with 118, followed by E. Prowse down to fourth on 98. In round 3 at the High Air Grand Prix of Qingdao, there were 15 riders competing in the Ski Ladies GP1 with a return of 2018 world champion Krista Uzare. But Uzare was still getting over a broken ankle and just trying to find her form in China, as Ortendal continued where she left off, winning the pole position ahead of Uzare in the time trials and then leading Moto1 right from the get-go in the rough conditions. Ortendal ran away with the lead, Jonna Borgström trying to keep up, but in the final lap, Borgström was overhauled by Jasmine Prowse, who finished second ahead of Borgström third, and Uzare having a tough time of it in the difficult waters, finishing seventh. In Moto2, Uzare had a good start before Ortendal moved back up into the lead on the opening lap, but with Jasmine Prowse pressing on the Swede. Behind E. Prowse, Jonna Borgström put the pressure on Jessica Chauvin, eventually passing the French rider to come in third in Moto2. In Moto3, Ortendal fast off the beat start, taking command early, chased by Krista Uzare in second, and the sibling fight for third as Jonna took on sister Sophie Borgström. Ortendal was yet again too good, making it 9 out of 9 Moto wins in 2019 and 3 out of 3 Grand Prix. Uzare, Moto3 runner-up, Sophie Borgström third, but in the overall Grand Prix results, Jasmine Prowse took the second step of the podium with Jonna Borgström third. The final event of the year, the Grand Prix of Sharjah, and Sweden's Emanuelle Ortendal was within touching distance of the title, needing just 3 points and also looking to make history by becoming the first woman to go unbeaten in an entire season. Jonna Borgström, Estelle Perret, and Jasmine Prowse were all still vying for a place on the year-end podium. But in Moto1, it was Jasmine Prowse who shot out ahead to take the early lead on Khalid Lagoon, chased by Ortendal and Jonna Borgström. But 2 laps in, Ortendal managed to slalom past E. Prowse through the split tracks. Ortendal takes the race lead. That's all it needed. Emanuelle Ortendal sealed her third UIM-ABP Ski Ladies GP1 Equibike World Championship. The race was still on for the second and third steps of the year-end and Grand Prix podiums, however. In Moto2, Jonna Borgström made a superb start to lead proceedings, chased by Jasmine Prowse, always a strong starter. But E. Prowse had a stumble and Ortendal whizzed by her into second position behind Jonna Borgström. In the alternate course, the Swedish race leaders go head-to-head, and Ortendal emerges from the blue track with a Moto2 lead. Ortendal on track for both the Grand Prix title and a historic clean sweep 100% winning season. And once again, Emanuelle Ortendal comes through with a win, nearly 15 seconds ahead of Jonna Borgström with Estelle Perret up in third. Moto3, the final moto of the year, conditions rough and windy. Ortendal had to change to a stock ski, which bumped her down to last position on the starting lineup, with Jonna Borgström instead starting in pole. Jonna Borgström made the most of her pole position. Behind her, it was younger sister Sophie Borgström locking horns with Jessica Chauvin in a fight for second position, Chauvin holding the young Swede off for now as the field headed into the alternate track. Out in the lead, Jonna Borgström not only looked set to lock world runner-up, but also a first-ever Grand Prix title unless Ortendal could rise up the field quickly. What a win for Jonna Borgström, her first moto win and a maiden Grand Prix title as Ortendal finishes 7th. Her hopes of a 100% winning year frustrated, but she has the world title in her pocket. The year-end standings, Ortendal is the UIM-ABP Aquabike Ski Ladies World Champion for 2019. Jonna Borgström world runner-up and Estelle Perret holds on to take third step on the podium ahead of Jasmine Prowse and Sophie Borgström. One of the most spectacular categories in the UIM-ABP Aquabike World Championship is the freestyle. The man who has dominated the category is Team Abu Dhabi's Rashid Al Mullah of the UAE, who swept all before him in 2018 and was the clear favorite in 2019, but he would have stiff competition from the likes of multiple European champion Roberto Mariani of Italy, Russian ace Sergei Chemezov, Czech talent Jaroslav Turner, and Portuguese rider Paulo Nunes, among others. In round 1 in Portimao, it was a field of 8 riders competing for the title, Rashid Al Mullah kicking the new season off the way he ended 2018, producing a brilliant flurry of tricks, variety, style, and technique for yet another clean sweep, with Mariani runner-up in both motos for the Grand Prix second step, and then a big battle for the third step of the podium between Chemezov and Turner, with the Russian ace Chemezov coming up trumps with his Moto2 performance. In round 2 in Olbia, Al Mullah was just too good, with an incredible series of flips, barrel rolls, 360s and 520s to romp home with another maximum points Grand Prix finish to lead the championship ahead of second place Mariani and Belgian Niels Willems taking third place. It was a familiar story in Qingdao, the top 2 steps of the Grand Prix podium locked by Al Mullah and Mariani. But in the ongoing rivalry for third, Jaroslav Turner this time got the better of Chemezov. An excellent double moto third place finish for Turner nabbed him his first podium result in 2019. In the final Grand Prix of the year in Sharjah, Mariani still had a chance for a world title if he could beat Al Mullah, but it was not to be. Al Mullah was simply sublime, closing out another 100% winning season as he defended his UIM-ABP freestyle world title. Mariani, however, had trouble in Moto 1 as Chemezov upped the ante, beating the Italian. Chemezov with the runner-up result in Sharjah, Mariani third. The world standings at the end of the Sharjah Grand Prix, Al Mullah with a world title, Roberto Mariani hanging on for world runner-up, and Sergei Chemezov edging out Jaroslav Turner for the third step on the year-end podium. The Runabout GP1, where the biggest, fastest, and most powerful skis are raced by men with nerves of steel in their year-long battle for the UIM-ABP title. It was a fairy tale ending to the 2018 season for Frenchman Jeremy Perez, who after 10 years on the tour finally realized his dream of becoming the UIM-ABP Aquabike World Champion. But he had a host of incredible riders he was up against in 2019, including 4-time world champion Yusuf Al Abdulrazak of Kuwait, Rashid Al Tayer of the UAE, Danish ace Marcus Jorgensen, Polish rider Andrzej Wisniewski, and the father and son Swedes Johan and Samuel Johansson, and dozens more. With 23 riders from 16 countries competing, the Runabout GP1 was one of the most anticipated categories in Portimao as crowds flocked to watch the awesome spectacle. In Moto 1, Rashid Al Tayer was fastest off the start, taking the early lead, chased by Yusuf Al Abdulrazak in second and Jeremy Perez in third. But Al Abdulrazak has a problem and slows as Perez zooms past his world title rival to take second position. Coming out of the alternate split course, Al Tayer takes the turn too wide, and Perez seizes the opportunity, cutting through on the inside of that turn to take the lead and the win. Al Tayer runner-up, Samuel Johansson third. In Moto 2, great start from Rashid Al Tayer yet again as he shoots into the lead on the starting straightaway to the green hole shots. Jeremy Perez struggling to keep up. Rashid Al Tayer makes no mistakes. He is the Moto 2 and Grand Prix of Portugal champion. Jeremy Perez runner-up in both Moto 2 and the overall Grand Prix, with Samuel Johansson on his first ever Grand Prix podium. With 47 points apiece, Al Tayer and Perez are tied atop the world standings going into the second round in Italy. There were more than 30 riders from dozens of countries competing in the Runabout GP1, GP2, and GP4 World Championships in Olbia, and the field was once again packed with talent. The race was on. Great start from Al Abdulrazak in pole position, but to his left was defending world champion Jeremy Perez. The Frenchman flies ahead of the Kuwaiti. Perez leads lap after lap with Al Abdulrazak giving chase, but then Perez's ski gives out and Al Abdulrazak takes the lead. Rashid Al Tayer moving up to second and Marcus Jorgensen third. Perez tries to get back into it, but it's no good. Al Abdulrazak is the Moto 1 winner in Olbia, a crucial 25 points for him as he gets back in the title race after a dismal round 1 and is on track for the Grand Prix win in Olbia. In Moto 2 of the Grand Prix of Italy in Olbia, Rashid Al Tayer had a brilliant start to the race, leading the field into the alternate course, going into the green track, but then Altair stops dead in the water and he just watches everyone fly by him. Meanwhile, Al Abdulrazak cruises to victory by over 72 seconds over second-place Marcus Jorgensen, with Wisniewski hanging on for third, the Moto2 result also doubling as the overall Grand Prix result in Olbia. Olbia also saw the runabout GP2 and GP4 World Championships contested over 3 rounds each, with Marcus Jorgensen taking the GP2 World title, while in the GP4 it was German rider Philipp Salabier who produced a stunning triple heat win for the GP4 World title. In the Parallel Slalom World Championship, Jeremy Perez came through to take the win and the World Slalom title in Olbia as he eased past Samuel Johansson of Sweden in the semifinals before beating Yusuf Al Abdulrazak in the final. Round 3 was in the Far East, in a new venue, Qingdao, China. Moto 1 of the UIM-ABP Aquabike High Air Grand Prix of Qingdao, Marcus Jorgensen on pole after winning qualifying with Hajime Izahai second ahead of Yusuf Al Abdulrazak third. The field of 24 riders charges off the beach on the opening straightaway to the hole shot. Izahai is in the lead. Behind him is Yusuf Al Abdulrazak on the number 11 ski, then Fracasso third, Marcus Jorgensen fourth, the Dane slipping 3 places after starting in pole. Jeremy Perez charges up the field, but then bad luck for the Frenchman. A broken crankshaft ends the defending world champions race in the first lap. In the alternate course, Al Abdulrazak takes the lead from Izahai, then Jorgensen also passes the Japanese rider, who is then overhauled by Mattia Fracasso as Izahai drops to fourth. The laps run out for Jorgensen as Yusuf Al Abdulrazak wins his third moto in a row. Great racing from the Kuwaiti, who closes the gap further between him and Jorgensen in the world standings. In Moto2, pole sitter Al Abdulrazak is outpaced at the start as Izahai leads the pack. Behind him, it's Jeremy Perez in second, with Marcus Jorgensen behind them in third. Behind the lead riders, Al Abdulrazak manages to get past Jorgensen, the Kuwaiti moving up into fourth. Championship leader Jorgensen bumped down to fifth. Hajime Izahai claims a historic first ever win for a Japanese rider in the UIM-ABP Runabout GP1. What a race from him. The overall Grand Prix results: 4th place in Moto2 is enough to give Yusuf Al Abdulrazak the High Air Grand Prix of Qingdao title. Runner-up on the podium is Hajime Izahai, and 3rd place goes to Wisniewski. It was down to the final Grand Prix in Sharjah. 7 men on the fastest, most powerful skis in the world vying for the world title in the Runabout GP1. Jeremy Perez took pole position and was off to a great start on the opening straightaway to the hole shot in Moto 1. Perez has Jorgensen to his right and then Al Abdulrazak. Al Abdulrazak encounters a problem as he slows down and Fracasso overtakes the Kuwaiti. Fracasso moves up into second behind Perez. As Al Abdulrazak struggles, he's also passed by Marcus Jorgensen, and soon after, Wisniewski also zips by. Jorgensen's surge continues as he gets past Fracasso out of the alternate course. In the end, Jeremy Perez was unstoppable. The Frenchman kicks his Sharjah Grand Prix campaign off with a perfect start-to-finish win for a crucial 25 points. Starting in pole position for Moto2, Jeremy Perez again off to a great start. Marcus Jorgensen right up there beside Perez to his right. The top 3 in Moto2, Jeremy Perez, Marcus Jorgensen, and Yusuf Al Abdulrazak giving it all they have for the world title. In the alternate track, Jorgensen and Perez come out neck and neck, and Jorgensen has the speed to get past Perez and take command of Moto2. The laps and the minutes run out in Moto2, and Marcus Jorgensen follows up his Moto1 second place with a win in Moto2. Jorgensen goes into Moto3 on top of the standings with pole position. He was the favorite for the 2019 UIM-ABP Runabout GP1 World title. Jeremy Perez's second place in Moto2 still keeps him in the running for a world title defense, but he'll need some luck on his side. The final race of the year, the season, and the decade. Moto3, where the 2019 UIM-ABP Runabout GP1 World Champion would be decided. The flag goes up, the race begins, Jorgensen fast off the bat, Perez right up there behind him, giving chase to the Dane in pole position as he leads the field to the hole shot. Jorgensen uses his momentum well to get past Perez on the exit, but the defending world champion is right up there behind the Dane, breathing down his neck. The laps add up, the minutes tick away. Jorgensen with the lead. He can sense the world title in his hands now as he holds Perez off all race long. But then, in the final lap, disaster! Jorgensen stops dead in the water with just half a lap to go. Perez is the 2019 UIM-ABP Runabout GP1 World Champion. He defends his world title against all odds. Even Perez can't believe it. What an agonizing loss for Jorgensen, but that's racing. Perez takes the Moto3 Grand Prix of Sharjah and the world title, a triple victory for the Frenchman who defends his world title against all odds. On the Grand Prix podium is a first ever father and son result. Samuel Johansson runner-up, Johan Johansson third. World runner-up goes to Samuel Johansson, who capitalizes on Jorgensen's Moto3 misfortune, the Danish rider having to settle for world number 3 after coming so close to winning the title. As the 2019 season came to a close, the UIM-ABP family celebrated with an Arabian feast in the desert, bringing to a close another decade of UIM-ABP racing. See you in 2020.